want to take a look at this Frame Whisperer video because it actually came up in my recommended, and it's online Tekken in Japan versus. It'd be much better for you guys if it was on the screen. Haha. Online Tekken in Japan versus Europe, and I'm assuming he's just going to talk about online Tekken in Japan versus Europe. I mean, I'm interested to know what he says. I wonder if he mentions anything like about the netcode. Because from what I've heard, like the netcode in like Asia, it feels a lot better, especially Korea. I don't know if Japan's the same, but in Korea, their online genuinely feels like offline. And it's like that was before season 4. I remember Spag was saying it. He went to Korea, was playing online there. He ran into Knee, and it legit felt like he was playing, you know, offline Tekken. No shill. So that's like my main thing. And obviously we'll talk about like rank difference, and you know, I'm assuming he'll say like Japanese Tekken, you know, was stronger over there, which wouldn't be a shock to anyone.
Hello everyone. So like I've been saying, I recently moved back to Sweden from Japan, where I've been for the last 7 years or so, since late 2014. And I've now played Tekken 7 outside of Japan for the first time, which
distance plays a big role, but it's like I can play someone that legit lives less than an hour from me and it still doesn't feel great, you know. So that's the difference, right? Like in general, like Europe, you're gonna run into people from like Germany and obviously Sweden and, you know, France, but like I have played people that live less than an hour away from me and it still feels bad. So
crazy when I think about it, but it was still all about Tag 2 when I left. But I've now had my first few sessions of online, and a bunch of you were asking about that, you know, is it different somehow? How does it feel? Is the skill level higher or lower compared to Asia?
I'd imagine the skill level was probably higher over there.
I honestly shocked at just how different it feels. It's different in a bunch of ways. First of all, I definitely enjoy it more here. It's been much of the same for a long time, and so just the fact that it feels a bit different and a bit fresh is really appealing to me, I guess. But yeah, different in a bunch of ways. I think the thing people are most interested in is like, you know, how does the skill level compare? And I guess I'll get to that, but I'll start by saying that European players are definitely more disrespectful.
I have to say that was an expert YouTuber trick there to up his video retention. He's like, I know people want to hear about the skill level. I'll get to it. I love that. I'll be stealing that.
Hilarious. And it's no secret that online Tekken is very toxic. It's the same in Asia. I think it's a good...
I think like Asian Tekken is... People have this idea that like, you know, it's prim and proper and they all shake hands before... They virtually shake hands before every game. They bow after every game. So I'm interested to see what he says about that. Maybe it's true, but I don't think so, especially considering what I've heard from like Japanese and Korean players.
And it's sort of a known thing in Asia that the people who specialize in disrespect and psychological warfare are the Koreans. They seem to love that. I think it's like a cultural thing. But when they have the disrespect fish, you know, they want to step on you after the round. They want to key charge. A classic thing at a...
So I'm hearing the Korean players are corpse kicking and teabagging. Interesting. I've heard. I'm only doing that because there are people who are like, bro, they're just like, the Koreans are just so respectful and they'll never do that. But it's almost like they are human too.
In Japan, it was like every few games, whereas here in Europe, so far, pretty much every single time I've lost a round, people want to step on me or key charge or throw stuff. It's just constant, which is funny.
Is he playing Zafina though by any chance when he's playing ranked in Europe? If he's playing Zafina ranked in Europe in ranked, that's probably why.
I think it might be a good idea in Europe to get that magic mirror item so that people can't move after the round, because it's just constant. Could be a thing in Asia as well, of course. You know, I showed up as a Japanese player over there, and Koreans and Japanese people, there's a lot of animosity there still, especially these last few years. And so I would play against Korean players sometimes who were like, "Fuck Japanese players" was like the username. So
my
it could
God.
be that, you know, they just wanted to.
Oh my God.
To show more disrespect. And it could also be here in Europe that people are, you know, stepping on me more because I've pretty much only been playing Zafina so far since I got back. And I know that's a character that a lot of people, that there aren't amazing, like, world-class players all over Europe, because of course there are. It's just,
Thank
a
you.
couple of tendencies that
He's
stood
talking about
out.
me.
People seem to want to respect plus frames less over here, which is great if you play a character who's good at creating frame traps and hitting with counter hit moves, because
It's true.
it becomes easy to take around that way. But if you look at the highlight reel I uploaded, my last video,
I think in
you can still
general,
the mid option,
people
stop
don't
after
know how
one
to
hit,
deal
be
with
more aware of your
Zafino.
whereas
In
here,
Europe,
I've been able to just blast the high over and over, and I get so much damage. This character isn't very good because they don't have a good panic move, and I always thought that was weird, because it's like,
because you're good players.
if you're in a situation where you want to gamble on a panic move, there's probably something else better that you should be doing instead. Trying not to panic, for example, but blocking.
So this is stuff I guess I've seen more over here. So I guess over there it wouldn't be as common. Maybe character variety is also a thing as well. I hope he gets into that. But I think this is stuff that's just like the norm. I think so. Like for here, the fact that like it's cool to see like I guess an outsider's perspective to this. Not technically not an outsider, but technically is. An outsider's perspective of saying like, yeah, like these guys, Alyssa players doing back 3+4 and Double Jim players doing up 4 when they're about to die and more panic moves. Is like, this is just like the norm, from what I've seen. So it's interesting to see someone new reacting to it, especially from a different region. Just lets you know that maybe it's just not the same over there, which would be weird if it was exactly the same, if like two regions or different regions played like exactly the same.
So people seem to respect players less, and they seem to respect frames a lot less. Is kind of the big thing. But I think the main thing, really the biggest and best thing I've noticed about online Tekken in Europe so far is just the amount of variety. A bunch of different countries, bunch of different players, bunch of different characters. Like here I can play 10 matches in a row and play 10 different characters. Which seems like it makes sense, but it's amazing because if you play in Japan, if you play 10 matches, I can give you the spread. It's going to be 5 Bryans, 2 Kazuya's, 2 Hwoarongs, and a Steve, like every time. Until you get to Emperor, and then it's just Leroy and Fakum Lam all the way up.
That's interesting. Like, Europe is known for like wide character variety, like in general, like on the tournament scene or whatever. But I'm surprised that also reflects online as well. Because yeah, I do see a bunch of different characters online. I think it's something that I take for granted, actually playing against a bunch of different characters in ranked. I'm surprised that like, this is the thing. Japan is well known in general, especially in the pro level, of just being tier whores. Japan is very well known for like having tier whore players, like Chikarin. This guy played Jin. This guy played he's been playing Tekken, I think, like Tekken 4. So he played like Tekken 4 Jin until like Geese came out. Then he mained Geese, but also he played Akuma on release. He was one of the main Leroy players. I think still plays Leroy now. He always like Chikarin's been well known. Pekos, this guy played Tekken 6 Bob until Geese came out. Naroma played season 1 top tier. This guy played Jack, Drag, Feng, Devil Jin, Kazumi. He legit played season 1 top tier. Yeah, like Japan is like well known for like being a tier whore island. So I'm not exactly surprised to hear that, but I kind of am to see that it reflects online as well. Played Devil Jin, Chikarin, of course he did. That's insane. That sounds bars. I mean, Brian very strong right now. Kazuya strong. What other character did he say?
Time.
And obviously Leroy and Fak at the top. I mean, the top characters you want to pick if you want to say whore.
Yes. 2 Hwoarongs and a Steve, like every time.
So Hwoarang is surprising. Then again, he is a very popular character. You are going to see him quite a bit online.
Exactly.
Oh, and Hwoarang will be very strong online, so it makes sense to online tier whore with him.
Same way. It's very precise. It's very clinical. You play a couple of Kazuyas in a row. It's the same thing. They use the same, 4 or 5 moves, and you can almost play the match out in your head. Like, this is going to happen, and this is going to happen, and when this situation occurs, I'm either going to get it right or wrong, and that's going to determine who takes the round. And it's just this, repetition.
I mean, I guess he's probably talking about like Asia as a whole rather than just Japan, because obviously in Japan you can play Korea and probably some Southeast Asian regions. He lives somewhere between Japan and Korea. So I mean, he said at the start that he was also playing Korean players as well. So yeah, he's probably played something into
1-2-1 with Zafina. So it's like for watching.
I think it's cool to see someone have such a positive outlook on playing online European Tekken because everyone is so just tired. And I think it's actually refreshing to just, I'm gonna like this video, by the way. If you enjoy a video, it costs nothing to leave a like, by the way. Just leave a fucking like, or else you're a bad person. Yeah, I think it's cool to see someone so excited to play online European Tekken. And you can see by his smile, he's genuinely like happy. And I think that's pretty cool. And I think it gives me a sort of fresh outlook on European Tekken as well, because I do take it for granted how like I can just legit go into ranked sometimes, but just play like a bunch of different characters rather than just like the same. I'd hate, like, that sounds like hell. You're into Brian, then Kazuya, then Huarang, then who else? Like Leroy and Fak, and like just those characters like that. That sounds awful. So maybe it's time to start appreciating European online Tekken a bit more. Who knows?